Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon. How's everyone doing today? Woo! That's exactly what we
That's
want
the
to hear,
energy
right?
we need. We've been playing Usher, we've been dancing in here. How's the conference been for everyone?
Good.
Yeah.
That energy, woo! It's the strongest source of energy that you can have in your whole life. So we're going to spend about 45 minutes here to teach you how to tap into that source of energy. Hopefully give you some tips and tricks and maybe a couple 2-millimeter mindset shifts that's going to equip you to give you energy in what I think is the most important part of your whole life. But first, real briefly, just a little about Elaine and I and why we're standing before you today. So I have a bachelor's degree in ministry. My wife is a psychiatrist trained at the Mayo Clinic. So we love talking to people. We love talking about people. Most of our investor calls for a private equity fund, we find that the number one question that we get is people saying, okay, I really love to invest. I want to get started in real estate. How can I trick my partner into letting me invest in real estate?
Or a sense of letdown, like they're really excited about it, but they think maybe it won't happen. I'm really excited, I feel like I understand this, I feel like I understand how it fits into my financial future picture, but I know my husband or wife won't agree, so there's just this like dead energy, right? And that dead energy permeates everything. It doesn't just stay with that decision about real estate investing, it permeates the entire relationship. And so we're here to talk about how you can change that energy and get in alliance with your partner and have a bigger portfolio and better sex. And this decision making around real estate, it permeates the entire relationship. We always say that real estate investing, you're making big decisions at all times, right? There's very few decisions in real estate investing that are small. You're making big decisions. And so it's an opportunity to practice those decisions so that when you're making real decisions in your relationship, whether it's about health or someone has passed away or children or something big in that relationship, you have that foundational practice. And then of course you're building the financial freedom that comes along with it.
So yeah, just a little bit of background. We've got a real estate private equity fund. We have about $1/3 billion assets under management. We have a real estate sales team. We're the top 1/3 of 1% of sales teams at Keller Williams. That's the largest real estate organization on earth, a couple 100,000 people in that organization. We're doing a little bit of ground up construction. So we've been doing a little bit of real estate. We've been doing it for a little while. And we just love to talk to people about what's holding them back in their real estate journey, how we can serve them, how we can help move them forward. And that's what we're here to do today. We'll have the slides at the end as well. But if you'd like a copy of the slides, if you learned something you want to maybe take home and share with your partner, you can get a recording and a copy of the slide deck. You can scan that QR code, just email Elaine at blackswanteam.com. And you can go to meetblackswan.com anytime and chat with us, schedule time to chat with us, or stop by our booth here.
One of the most important concepts that we want to start off with is the foundation that you cannot influence someone while you are judging them. So let me say that again. You cannot influence someone while you are judging them. And unfortunately, there's a dynamic where the relationships that are closest to us, whether it's our children, our parents, coworkers that we work with closely, or our partner, that tends to be our human nature, is that we tend to judge that person the most, right? Because we know they leave their socks here, or they have this funny sound when they chew, or whatever it is. And so we build up this pattern of judging the people that we love the most and that are closest to us. And in doing so, we erode our power to influence them. So the challenge I have for you is to step away from judgment, to stay in curiosity. The opposite of judgment is curiosity, is fascination of, I'm fascinated that you've left your socks there again, despite the fact that I've asked you for the last 12 years. But I know that if your socks weren't there, that probably means you're not home today. And I want you to be home, so I want your socks there. And then you're able to influence. So when you come from a place of curiosity, of service, of love, of connection, and you suspend judgment and stay away from it, you're able to have vastly superior influence over someone and be in close connection with them. And then the other side of that is today we're going to talk about some tough topics, right? Sex and money are two of the biggest topics that are controversial. We were joking with the people miking us up that we need to talk about religion and politics as well, and then we've covered everything. And particularly talking about masculine and feminine energy. And there's so many layers in our culture of what that means and what men should do and what women should do. And we ask you to just suspend judgment and listen to these ideas, see if they resonate with you, take the things home with you that make sense to you, leave behind the stuff that doesn't fit, get the slides so that maybe you can look at it later or look at it with your partner and see if after looking at it a second time, more of it fits with you. But this is probably the most important concept, and certainly the thing that I think has been most important in our communication with each other, that when we suspend judgment, we're able to connect so much deeper.
Absolutely. We want to learn just a little bit more about you as well. So, who here is single? Raise your hand. Got some single folks? All right. Can I get a woo? Woo! This isn't just for married folks or folks in a relationship. Who here is in a relationship? So most of the room is in a relationship. That's good. This is going to be directly applicable. Who here has kiddos? Any kiddos in the room? Much of the room as well. Who is here by themselves? Okay. Who here is with their partner at this conference here? Awesome. So excited to see that. So even more directly applicable when you got your partner sitting next to him here. Those of you who are in a relationship, who here feels like their partner is as excited about investing in real estate as you? So a lot of people, but fewer hands there. And who here would like it if their relationship was stronger? Everybody, yeah, of course, absolutely. And who here would like to have amazing sex? That's a gimme. As we were just saying a second ago, it's the most powerful force of energy you can tap into in your whole life. And we're going to give you a few lenses through which to see the world that can help you and get past what's holding you back. Having more passion, more energy, more happiness, having a bigger real estate portfolio or better sex. These are just inevitable consequences of you understanding the needs of your partner. You being able to see the world through their eyes, to understand their needs, to understand how to meet their needs. We're going to talk about that right now. This is one of those critical concepts in our whole time together today.
So a level 3 relationship, a level 1 relationship it's all about me. That's called an egocentric relationship. There are times in life when an egocentric relationship is completely appropriate, most often with babies and children. So for the baby, they don't really care how parents feel or how caregiver feels. They care about meeting their needs. When they cry, they want whatever it is, the food, the diaper to be changed, whatever it is. That's a level 1 relationship. There are times when you might be in a level 1 relationship with another adult, like maybe you're just going to the bank to deposit a check, quick interaction, you're there to get a need met, something like that. You only care about what you get out of the relationship. So very superficial relationship, and as we mature, we want to stay out of level 1 relationships as much as possible, stay in level 2 and level 3 relationships. A level 2 relationship is all about equality. That's an ethnocentric relationship. This is unfortunately where most relationships in typical American or Western culture stop. We kind of have this false belief that this is what it's all about. That if we get to a level 2 relationship, we have it made, and we'd like to present to you the idea of a level 3 relationship. It's a somewhat radical concept, but it's a deeper type of relationship. So first let's talk about a level 2 relationship. I suspect that this will resonate with you, that you'll understand exactly what a level 2 relationship is. So a level 2 relationship is I'll take care of me, and you take care of you, and we'll try to take care of each other. So I'm gonna do my thing, you're gonna do your thing, maybe our finances are separate, or we have completely separate hobbies, or I know that Nick doesn't really want to invest in real estate, but I'm gonna do it anyway, and we take care of each other, and that feels like it's a good relationship, because we've been fooled by modern culture that that's kind of the best it can be, that we need to be self-sufficient, we need to look out for ourselves. But we're gonna present the idea of a level 3 relationship, and I wanna plant this seed, and I hope that when you look back on this, 60, 90 days, a year from now, you've taken your relationship closer to a level 3 relationship.
So we're going to give you a few homework items here, and I promise you, if you take these home, they're going to give you the outcomes that we have promised at the beginning of this presentation. So here's one of these homework items. I challenge you, this is going to be more of a challenge for the masculine energy people in the room, the feminine energy in the room, that they tend to understand this more natively, but for masculine energy, this is a tough one. I challenge you. That's something that masculine energy responds to is challenge. I challenge you to try this with your feminine energy partner. Your needs are my needs. I take full responsibility for your feelings, for how you feel. I will not give up. I will never give up until your needs are met completely. Love you.
Me too. It's intense.
When feminine energy knows that masculine energy is dialed in, it has all it needs. This is its only true need, is to be in level 3 relationship. And you can be in level 3 relationship with a bank teller too, with employees of your organizations. You laugh, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that wholeheartedly. Like I'm dead serious. Here is what it looks like when I go into the bank the first time when I choose to step into a level 3 relationship with a bank teller. Hey, how's it going?
I'm doing well. How are you today?
I'm doing fantastic. I'd like to withdraw some funds. Here you go.
I need your ID so I can access the account.
Of course. Here you go. Here's
you.
my ID. And while you're working on that, is there anything I can do in the future to just like make your job easier?
If I always have the deposit slip that's over there, I'm happy to fill it out today.
Oh, I hadn't noticed they're right there.
Yeah, if that's helpful, because then I don't have to fill it out. And then if you have your ID and that and whatever you're depositing, we can get you on your way pretty quickly.
I hadn't thought about that. If I make your job easier, I guess my life gets a little bit easier, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to remember that. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Let me know if there's anything I can do in the future to serve you.
Thank you. Wow.
Let's come back the next day and see how our experience is. So yesterday I had to wait in line, and I'm not really looking forward to going to the bank. It's kind of a perfunctory level 1 experience. Let's see what the next day looks like. Hey, Elaine, how's it going?
How are you? Remind me your name again.
My name's Nick. Yeah, just like you said, I got my deposit slip ready to go here.
Yeah.
I noticed you came right over, and I kind of skipped the line. Is that okay?
Absolutely. Hey, I see yesterday you were depositing some rent checks. Today, aren't you a real estate investor? What do you do?
I'm a real estate investor. Yeah, we deposit a ton of checks. It's not a big hassle for me. I bet it's kind of a hassle for you too, isn't it? Having to deposit all these checks all the time.
There's a lot of paperwork to it, with the deposit slip and everything. We have this higher level services at the bank. And
really?
We even have this like commercial lending division. I don't really know what they do over there, but I know they work with a lot of real estate investors. Like, can I introduce you to them?
I would love that. If we could just do that, that would be super helpful to me.
Yeah, let's go over and meet Joe.
Does this seem like an impossible hypothetical? When you actually care about other people, when you just take a moment out of your day to acknowledge them, to connect with them, and to sincerely, with full-on authenticity say, I want to serve you, and I'm going to take responsibility for the way you feel, the way I make you feel, people can't help but want to serve you. And your whole world opens up to things that you never possibly could have expected before.
And it's so different from what we're taught, right? We're taught that we are not responsible for the feelings of others, that if we say something and it hurts that person's feelings, that's on them, they misinterpreted it, they aren't strong enough, they're stupid, like whatever that is, like I'm just responsible for myself. But I encourage you to think about a level 3 relationship and to think about the idea that if you are responsible for the feelings of others, particularly the people that you want to be closest with, like your partner, it will take your relationship to the next level, and you will seek ways to serve them. You will, like Nick wakes up every morning, and he's definitely a leader in our relationship in this way. He wakes up every morning and he asks me, what is the number 1 thing on your mind today, and how can I help you with that? What a way to start the day, right? So that immediately motivates me to say, well, no, what's the number 1 thing on your mind, and how can I serve you in that endeavor? And all of a sudden you can see how the $1 billion private equity fund, the employees, like all of that just flows effortlessly because we're committed to the goals of the other truly and authentically. Level 3 relationship will change your life.
Feminine energy in the room. Make the sound of the way you feel if every day the first thing that you experience is your partner saying, what can I do for you? Make that sound. This is the most important slide here today.
Absolutely.
Live into this concept. Lean into this concept, and it will absolutely change your life. Next, we're going to go through, in short order, some uncomfortable topics that we've spiced up with some meat, because humor lets us talk about uncomfortable things with a lot more grace, right? We're going to move really fast, but I hope you pick up a few tidbits along the way, because there's huge differences in the way masculine energy and feminine energy sees the world. We're going to try to help you see the world through the lens of maybe your opposite polarity.
Absolutely, and let's talk about masculine and feminine energy to just kind of lay some groundwork there. So for the most part, masculine and feminine energy correlates with one's biological sex. That's not always true though. It's certainly possible that a person in a female body can be naturally more masculine, or vice versa, a person in a male body can naturally be more feminine, and both of those are okay. What's most important is that in that relationship, the people explore their polarities and that they get to live authentically in that energy. So a quick example of what the opposite of that looks like is someone who is more naturally feminine energy has to step into masculine energy and it's uncomfortable for them. And that looks like something like nagging, asking again and again, like, please take care of that. I need you to take care of that. I've asked you 50 times to take care of that. There's a sense of frustration, of disappointment. And conversely, when someone who has natural masculine energy steps into feminine energy, it can often be uncomfortable for them because it's things like knowing that they want something, but tiptoeing around it. Like, pretend I'm the masculine partner. I went to this like Limitless conference and I kind of want to invest. Can we talk about that?
I'm sorry, I'm actually really focused on this other thing over here. I'm laser focused on this other thing. I'm really glad you went to that conference though.
You just feel that letdown, right? So we're going to talk about the people who are naturally of feminine energy and people who are naturally of masculine energy, how to amplify those energies and bounce off of each other so that you can have more authentic communication and get closer to your goals faster.
So one of the biggest ways that masculine and feminine energy get kind of apart from each other, off track, is that feminine power tends to be very holistically oriented. I'm a person of faith. I'm also a person of science. So people who are stronger feminine power, they tend to have more estrogen, and they also tend to have more epinephrine. So epinephrine says, where's the tiger, where's the tiger, where's the tiger? Estrogen is looking for threats. And people who are more dominant masculine energy tend to have more testosterone, more norepinephrine. And those are the focus hormones, and those say, I'm going to go get that tiger. There's a tiger right there. But here's the thing. What good is chasing after that tiger if that tiger has a buddy in the bushes? And we are built to complement each other. So feminine power is always head on a swivel, always looking for the threat. There's a rustling in the bushes over there, but over there too. And masculine power is here to go tackle, to go kill, to go dominate that threat. And the two together are so perfect, right? Like we were born to survive together in harmony, but it can also be really ugly because I'm really focused on this thing. I don't care about the rustling in the bushes over there. Or feminine power has to constantly escalate until they have to finally say, okay, I don't trust my partner. Now I have to step up and go tackle the threat. And all your polarity falls apart. Write this down. An intimate relationship never dies due to lack of love. It dies due to a lack of polarity. Mm-hmm. If you have a partner that you're not being intimate with, that your needs aren't met, there isn't that polarity, you've got a friend, a business partner, but you don't have electricity. You don't have that, you can't tap into that energy source that makes you feel so alive. Let's talk about another lens.
So this is about the journey and the destination. Feminine energy enjoys the journey. They enjoy looking at things, experiencing the sounds, the sights, talking about the feelings that come from it. Peace is the best journey, happiness is the destination. Masculine energy is obsessed with the destination. So wants to get to the place, wants to check in, wants to do the thing, do the ticket, do the excursion. You can imagine masculine and feminine energy, maybe they're on vacation. The road to Hana in Maui comes to mind. That road to Hana, if you haven't been there, I highly recommend it. It's a long, winding road around Maui, and it's basically just a number of destinations that you stop at a waterfall, a little inlet of water, a little place to get pineapples. Feminine energy would love to stop at all of those places. They don't really care about getting to Hana. They care about having an amazing experience and taking pictures and enjoying Hawaii. Masculine energy is like, we've got to get to Hana. We've got to get to Hana. And you can see it that if you are able to balance against each other, you're able to have a perspective of, well, he wants to get to Hana maybe by sundown so that we're not driving back on this road in the dark. I want to enjoy the experience and then we can enjoy it together. Versus that frustration of, I want to stop and look at things and walk through the waterfall, and Nick's just like, hey, we've got to get there, we've got to get there. Neither of us are going to have a good time. So understanding the difference between experiencing the journey or being obsessed with the destination is critical. And in real estate investing, particularly I find early on in the real estate investing journey, it's important to understand this difference Because masculine partners, they want to close the deal, they want to do the first thing. And feminine partners might be more interested in, well, help me understand that. Or what does this mean to us? What is this going to look like? What will actually happen here? And that there can be a conflict there that need not exist. If the feminine partner knows that they would likely be served by explaining the journey, if the masculine partner knows that they would likely be served by explaining the journey to the feminine partner, and the feminine partner knows that they would likely be served by encouraging their masculine partner toward the destination, then that can make, especially those early real estate deals where you're first learning the journey, they can be much more seamless with this understanding.
So feminine energy, it likes to gather. It likes to bring people and things together. And masculine energy, it loves to lead. And this is something that's a beautiful thing. I'm a licensed real estate agent. I'm sure you've seen one of these house hunter memes before. I have no idea where these people come from or if they're real. But have you ever noticed that when you're selling a home, if you're a real estate agent in the room, or maybe you've seen enough episodes of House Hunters that you can predict this, the buying decision is always driven by the feminine energy partner, right? You can see the polarity in those episodes because they're really condensed down, and those are the high drama moments they always include. Go back and rewatch a couple of House Hunter videos. It's always the feminine energy partner that's driving the buying decision because it loves to gather. And when it's time to sell the home, it's always the masculine energy partner that's driving that whole process. The feminine energy partner just steps back. This is where our memories have been made. I can't watch, I can't let it happen. They often don't want to let it go. And you can predict, usually in the first couple minutes of the episode, what that outcome's going to be, just looking at who's in the driver's seat and if they're masculine or feminine energy. Think about how powerful that is if you can predict the future with almost absolute certainty, having met someone for just a few moments, because you know the patterns, because you can see the world through their lens, because you can see, okay, it's the feminine partner who's really driving this thing, and she really wants to buy the house. So a sale's happening and it's happening today. Or, I can tell the husband's really in charge and we're gonna sell this house. There's a listing is happening today. If the reverse is true, then there's probably not any business that's happening today. They're gonna have to get on the same page here before something can happen. It's a powerful way to see the world through that lens.
Next up, let's talk about problems. I think this is probably the one that is most applicable to day-to-day life. Probably the one where there's the most potential friction between the two energies, and it's around problems, right? Because most of the day in human life is solving problems. What time to wake up, what to do, what's happening at work, what real estate investment decisions do we want to make. We're blessed to have the opportunity to solve problems all day, but when we solve problems in a way that's opposite our partner, it can feel like there's a lot of friction. It can feel like we're not on the same page, we're not rowing in the same direction. So feminine energy solves problems by making them bigger, by asking, well, I need to talk to this friend, and we need to call this person, and let's try to run this calculator again, and let's drive the neighborhood, collecting data, understanding. It goes back to understanding the journey as well. You can see there's a pattern here. Masculine energy often solves problems by making it smaller. This is the house, it's in a great neighborhood, it's a great price, let's do it. And that can feel like there's a conflict there. And instead, understanding that's a time for masculine energy to step up and ask feminine energy, well, what do you think about the neighborhood? Or what do you think about this school district? Or have you looked at the comps in the area? What do you think about the price? Because feminine energy naturally gathers, naturally makes the problem bigger, naturally tries to understand all of the dynamics in that problem. And so you can be very served by leaning into feminine energy to have a holistic understanding of what's happening, so that you don't get laser focused on, well, that's the house, right? That's the tiger, but meanwhile there's a tiger over here that's actually gonna cause the problem. And this can cause a ton of friction. And this is where kind of the stereotypes of, women talk too much, or they analyze too much, or they get stuck in analysis paralysis. What if none of that is true? What if it's actually that by making the problem bigger, they're able to solve the problem in a different way? And again, instead of staying in judgment of, well, she wants to nitpick everything in the deal, there's a curiosity there, an appreciation there of, she's a really good underwriter. She knows every single house in the neighborhood, she knows the schools, what their scores are, the last 10 sales. Masculine energy might get bored with doing that type of underwriting. Feminine energy thrives in it. So I hope you're seeing this pattern where, by understanding the differences in feminine energy and masculine energy, and knowing who you are naturally internally, who your partner is naturally internally, and how you can play off of each other's strengths, stay out of judgment and in curiosity and appreciation of these differences, you're so much stronger together in all of the decisions that you make in your relationship and then also in real estate investing decisions.
I agree with you, Elaine. This is probably the number one thing in day-to-day life.
Absolutely.
These are both equally valid ways to solve problems, are they not? And they're opposite ways to solve problems. And sometimes one way is better, sometimes the other way is better, and yet you feel like your partner is crazy because they're ignoring or because they're blowing things out of proportion. And once you see the world through their lens, you understand you're both just working through the problem from opposite ends. And if you can meet in the middle, you can probably solve the problem better than you ever could on your own. That's a critical one for day-to-day life. Here's a fun one. So let's imagine that we're on a road trip together. We're driving down the road in the mountains.
I'll get on the right side.
There you go. because masculine energy likes to drive, doesn't
it? You're just going to drive regardless of where the steering wheel is.
Haven't you wondered why masculine energy is always driving? It's because that's what we're wired to do. This is what we want to do. But we believe in explicit communication, not implicit communication. So I'm driving down the road. I've been driving for about 6 hours straight, and I'm totally focused on my destination. I don't care how we feel along the way, because it's the destination, not the journey, right? And my partner is trying to have a...
Are you going to tell the story of our third date?
No, I don't think we're ready for that.
Do you remember when you drove to the wrong...
I do.
Okay.
I literally drove to the wrong city because I was so focused on the destination. Masculine energy is very good at getting to the destination, but it's not very good at picking the destination. That's the blind spot that masculine power has.
We were driving to a restaurant that happens to have the same name as a city that happens to be about equidistant but in opposite directions from our starting point.
Trip.
Yeah, it was about a 2-hour trip. And we ended up in the city instead of at the restaurant.
I was really focused on the destination. You'd think about 15 minutes in, I'd figure out that I was going to the wrong place.
I was just enjoying the journey and enjoying the company.
She didn't know where we were going. It was a surprise, and she's like, "Oh, awesome! We're going to this really special, faraway place." And finally, the GPS said, "You have arrived." And I said, "No, I haven't. This isn't the restaurant." And then I realized I was 2 hours from home. That is the power of masculine energy, right? It's going to drive to the destination. No matter what, no matter how irrational, no matter how improbable, it will break through, it will make it happen, and it may not like where it ends up. And that's where feminine power comes into play. It says, "Hey, do you know where we're going?" No, I know exactly where I'm going, I'm definitely getting there. And then feminine power has to make the problem bigger in order to solve the problem, doesn't it? Hey, do you know where we're going? I know it was up, I'm gonna turn my podcast up, I'm so focused, I know exactly where I'm going. Stop the car. I don't think you know where you're going. And can you all feel that moment with me right now? That is the moment when polarity dies.
Yes.
That moment. That's when feminine energy says, you know what? I don't trust my masculine partner. They don't have a clue where they're going. They're not hearing me. They don't feel my needs. I'm not heard, I'm not understood, and I have to step up and solve the problem now. I gotta put on the pants. And it doesn't feel good. And you sure don't have good sex that night, do you? And have you ever had a little dispute like this, and weeks go by and you're still silently fuming over this stupid little dispute about driving to a restaurant 2 hours away?
That was 12 years ago, by the way. I still remember it vividly.
This is when Elaine decided she was going to marry me.
Yes.
This moment was
yes.
when, on our third date, because of the way I handled the situation. I said, "Babe, I know you don't know me. I didn't take you to some place to murder you or something like that. I accidentally drove 2 hours away. We're going to find a nice restaurant nearby, and we're going to go to that one instead. But, oops, I'm sorry." If I doubled down, if I tried to just double down on my masculine energy and say, "You know what? We're driving 2 hours back. We're going to make it to the destination. To heck with the journey," she would never feel safe in our relationship. She would always wonder, where is this man going to take me, and am I going to like it? But because in that moment she saw I had the ability to step out and to think, what are my partners eating? She's probably getting pretty hungry because we were supposed to eat 2 hours ago. Let's find something nearby. She knew that I was always going to listen to her. That wasn't what we were going to talk about, but I thought that was a pretty good one.
That's my contextual communication right there.
There you
And then All right, sensing and thinking, two very powerful forces. I'm a psychiatrist, and so I'm always thinking about how do people interpret the world, right? We interpret the world largely through two different ways. Our frontal lobe does our thinking, and the earlier parts of our brain that evolved earlier in the back, that does more of our sensing, our understanding of what's going on in the room, our intuition. So sensing and thinking are two different ways that our brains can help us interpret information in the world. Feminine energy tends to have more of a sensing. It goes back to we tend to have more of a holistic awareness. We tend to be thinking about the journey. We tend to be making the problem bigger. And all of that leads to an understanding of things like, I just saw that person walk past, and I know I need to talk to them. I wonder where they might be, and if I might be able to bump into them. And I know now that they are wearing a purple shirt. That would be very hard for masculine energy to do from stage because they're very focused, right? But feminine energy can have all of that information kind of going at one time and be sensing. Masculine energy is very about thinking. What are the facts? How many people are in the room? What slide are we on? How many minutes are left? Focus, focus, focus. They're both great ways to understand the world. They're very powerful together, and they're just different ways. And I hope you're seeing the pattern here of when you appreciate them about each other, they become very powerful. You can ask your partner, what are you thinking in this moment? And conversely, your partner can ask you, what are you feeling in this moment? And when you have two different types of data that are trying to solve the same problem, it's likely that you'll get a better outcome.
That's deep. That's powerful. I hope you all wrote that down. If you ask your feminine energy partner, what are you thinking? You're asking the wrong question. How do you feel right now? How do you want to feel at the end of the conversation we're having? You can't think your way out of that chain of communication and get to a good destination. In fact, there may be no destination at all. And feminine energy people, have you ever noticed that you're a little obsessed with how your partner's thinking? Because you're trying to sense them, and their thinking is a little confusing sometimes. They might be going 2 hours away for no good reason. Like, what are you thinking right now? Like, what's going through your brain right now? Where are you taking us? It's a virtuous thing, right? It's a virtuous thing to wonder. You need to ask, what are you thinking and what are you feeling, and you'll actually be able to communicate much better with your partner. This is a fun one right here. So,
I was thinking of this slide when I recalled our third date 12 years ago.
I think we just relived this meme, right? I think that just happened. I think we covered this one.
I think so.
We can skip forward here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we recently bought a roach motel. So we buy distressed multifamily properties, we renovate them, and then refi them. We do a bird business model inside of a private equity fund. So we often buy very distressed properties.
The worse the better.
Yeah, and this was a property that had a substantial pest issue. We'll just leave it at that, to the point that all personal property, all furniture in the entire building had to be disposed of, and yeah. So I'm like, all right, get it all out of here. How many guys can we get in here to get this stuff out of here as quickly as possible? I want it gone tomorrow, because that's what masculine power does, right? It empties, and this is like an on-fire mission. I feel excited to not burn the building to the ground, but all the stuff inside that is potentially infested. And my wife, in her infinite wisdom, said, let's keep this stuff out of the landfill. What can we do?
Can't we get the bug treatment guys to come in and do a bomb, and that'll take care of the bugs, and then we can have the same team take this furniture to the homeless shelter or something like that. It just pained me to give something away, to throw something away.
And so ultimately, if I was not aware of the differences in the way masculine and feminine energy see the world, I probably would have tried to overpower my wife, which, by the way, does not work. She's a fucking lion, and I don't recommend that strategy with her ever. And so I stopped and I thought, okay, my wife's really smart. Why does she want to keep the Roach Motel furniture? There's got to be a good reason for it. How do you feel about this situation? And she expressed her feelings. I said, okay. The appliances, those could probably clean up pretty well. We eventually got someone to come get rid of all the appliances. Those would have been the most expensive things for us to dispose of. And they paid us I think $35 per appliance to haul out the Roach Motel appliances. It probably saved us $10,000. And all I did was I stepped back for a moment. I stepped back from my blinders, my masculine energy that said, get rid of it all, burn it all, and just thought, well, what could we keep? What could we not empty? And we immediately, like in 5 minutes, we made $10,000. And that's the stakes here. You can accomplish so much more together than you can apart. We're made to complement one another, and we just have to understand the world through our partner's lens.
This one's probably the most obvious. Feminine energy is stimulated by love and connection, by asking, what are you feeling? What's on your mind? How can I connect with you? Who is important to you? What's your mom feeling? That's the real trick, is asking your feminine partner what other people in their tribe are feeling, because it gives a sense of connection, a sense of this person cares not only about me, but about the people that I care about, and therefore we must be safe. Masculine energy, on the other hand, is stimulated by challenge and praise. So like when Nick has a speaking engagement that doesn't involve me, I say things like, I know that they will be attracted to you. I know that you will do an amazing job. I challenge you to get up there, be your authentic self, and I got to hit him hard and like do these things. If he did that to me, I would be appalled. And it would like ruin my energy coming onto stage, right? If he was like standing next to me and like hitting me hard on the chest. But that's what I do, because I know that masculine energy is stimulated by challenge, by praise, and they're different, right? So feminine energy may not necessarily enjoy praise around like, good job with that, or I'm glad you got that award, or congratulations. That may feel good, but a little flat, right? That's gonna be like a level 2 relationship. Feminine energy may enjoy something like, when you got that award, I felt really connected to you. I felt really inspired by you. You were an example to others, right? So it's just a subtle way of communicating in a different way the same thing, in a way that meets your partner's needs at a deeper level, that gets you closer to that level 3 relationship.
I'm going to get intense with you for just a moment, okay? If you'll allow me. Do I have your permission to get intense with you for just a moment? Yeah. To feminine energy, nothing is valuable unless we do it together. To do it alone is not just worthless, it detracts from my life. It lowers the value of my life experience. And so, fellas in this room, when you go out and you conquer and you do it alone, you betray your spouse. You cheapen her existence. And you need to step the heck up. And you need to pull her close. You need to say, let's do this together.
Yes.
We conquer together.
Yes.
We take together. We live together. We live or die together. And feminine partners, when your masculine partner goes home and comes home and has made the kill, and you don't celebrate, when you don't send them out to conquer, when you don't say, come back with your shield or on it, as the Spartans would say, when you don't praise them and worship them for their accomplishment, we die a little inside. Because we don't do it for ourselves. Who here would die for their family? Raise your hand. You're damn right. We don't die for ourselves, we die for our family. And when you fail to celebrate that, when you fail to acknowledge that, you cheapen everything that we do. So step up. Pull your partner close and celebrate them, and you will have the most amazing sex of your entire life. And you will 10x your portfolio.
That's very true.
Overnight.
That's very true.
Do you think that I'm being facetious? Do you think if you send out your partner, you have to be a little careful because they might bring back a woolly mammoth and not a rabbit? Do you think when you pull your partner close, you don't have to worry about, do I need to trick them into letting me invest in real estate? You have to be careful because they might start pulling you forward and
I want 2 woolly mammoths next time.
Who here is excited about stepping up and getting 2 woolly mammoths? I know I am. I hope
For me and all my friends.
I hope the hairs on the back of your neck stand up when you think about this. This is the biggest source of energy you can possibly tap into. I appreciate you giving me permission to get a little intense with you, because I think this is the intensity that this topic deserves. Your life can be so much better if you just lean into this.
You basically covered that one.
I think we got it.
You got ahead of yourself there.
I think we got that one too. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "A man who has not found something worth dying for is not fit to live." Does that resonate with you, masculine people in the room? This is kind of gibberish to a feminine power individual, but this is what we were put on this earth to do. And until we have found that thing worth dying for, like, life is empty, it's meaningless.
Let's talk about, speaking of woolly mammoths, I love that. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, right? So unfortunately, in typical American and Western culture, there's an idea that feminine energy is weak, right? Like, I promise, I know, I'm okay with the fact that many of the feminine people in this room are thinking throughout this presentation, why does she want me to be so feminine? I've worked so hard to make it. I've worked so hard to survive in a man's world. We've worked so hard to overcome these things. Why would we go back to it? And again, stay out of judgment. And I'm here to tell you, to commit to you that feminine energy is power. Feminine energy draws people in. It's magnetic. It creates a tribe. It gets people together. It gets people committed to a common vision, excites them as they're going through the journey in doing that. And we've lost our way in our society thinking that, well, feminine energy is weak. But feminine energy is weak because we've stepped back from it and we've stepped into these like fake masculine roles that we don't really want to do. We don't really enjoy them. We know that we're leaving our authentic selves behind. And instead, when we step into our authentic self as feminine power, we know that we can accomplish so much more. And it feels maybe a little odd at first, but it's been so powerful because in business, it's not expected. So when you're able to approach a situation with feminine energy, I call it divine feminine power, you're able to disarm your opponent. And maybe they share more information with you, or they find that they're rooting for you, that maybe they're trying to like help you get the deal. Maybe it's a broker, or they're trying to help you get the deal, because feminine energy is naturally very attractive. It gathers, it brings people together. And so we have to speak to this, because otherwise it leaves the sense in the room of, but we've worked so hard to live in a man's world, why in the world would I want to step away from that? And instead, I'm encouraging you to step into feminine power and to know that feminine power in a world that's dominant masculine is extremely powerful because it's rare. And rare things are valuable.
And true power lies in androgyny. So we all have huge amounts of masculine and feminine energy within us all. So just now it's being very intense. But what did I do before I brought that intensity? There's a lot of masculine power I just kind of poured out here. What did I do first? I said, do I have your permission? I checked in with you. I asked you, how are you feeling? Trying to get a read on the room. True power lies in androgyny. All of the most powerful people you've ever known in your entire life are people with massive amounts of both feminine energy and masculine energy. Like, think about like a rock star in a music video. They're like a symbol of masculine power. Like all the ladies are dripping all over them, but they're probably wearing some guy liner. And they have finely tailored clothing. They're maybe glistening just a little bit, and they've got 10 kinds of hair products in their hair. Like somehow simultaneously they're radiating feminine power and masculine power. When you want to close a deal, like if I just say, hey, would you like to do a deal?
No.
So sometimes that approach does work, but if I want to say, hey, how are you doing? Oh, where are you from? What would you like to do? Oh, I like to do that too. Let's build some rapport. And would you like to do a deal? True power lies in androgyny. Feminine power is absolutely not weak. We are so much better together on this stage than either of us could ever be apart. So let's talk about never evers. Never evers. Jot these things down. You can get a copy of our slides. We'll have a QR code here at the end. But jot these things down. These are your cheat codes, right? And make sure you stay out of judgment when you're exercising these. But masculine power, it thrives in competition. It's shut down by sympathy. When you challenge your masculine partner to go out and kill that tiger, like it is energized by that. Hell yeah, I'm gonna kill that tiger for you. I will go kill that tiger. Has your man ever been sick? He's had the man flu, I think is what I read on social media. How does he feel when you like kind of nurse over him? Is that something that energizes him? He just kind of wants to shrink away. He wants to hide.
Make the problem smaller.
That's right. He makes the problem smaller. That's his problem-solving methodology. He doesn't want sympathy. It shuts down masculine power. Here we go. Feminine energy thrives in cooperation, but it, conversely, is shut down by challenge. Like, do you ever do like a chest bump with your wife? That's not something that computes, right? A fist bump. It looks hilarious when you do like a fist bump because It's a greeting, it's a masculine greeting that invites challenge and competition. The Latin root of the word competition is to conspire together. We're going to make a set of rules, and by fighting each other, by pretending, by preparing for the day when you and I have to stand shoulder to shoulder against the tiger, the tribe that comes over that hill, I'm going to get better, and feminine energy absolutely hates competition. Don't try it. And finally, you cannot tell your feminine partner to let it go. It loves to gather.
This is the most important part of the presentation.
Just don't
do
don't
it.
say it.
Just don't do it.
And ladies, if you're trying to fix up your man, just stop. If you know your spear, I think you maybe have got it backwards. I think the pointy end goes towards the tiger. He's gonna have to figure that out on his own. And he will probably spite you. Oh, I'm going to show you. That's challenge. You're challenging me to use the blunt end of the spear. That's right. I'm hearing you. I'm hearing exactly what you're communicating. Don't try to coach your man.
Let's talk about the 3 C's, and the next slide will be the 3 U's. So the 3 C's that crush masculine energy is feeling criticized, closed, or controlled. So these are things that we naturally step into as feminine partners because we want to say things like, well, let me straighten your coat, and have you done this, and did you take care of that thing? And that crushes masculine energy.
Taking my jacket off.
Masculine energy thrives when it's able to accomplish, but it doesn't want to be coached around it. So a suggestion might be something like, I really like it when you wear that coat. You're very attractive to me when you wear that coat.
Okay,
so,
I'm going to get this dry
would you
cleaned.
consider, right?
I'm going to get impressed. I'm never taking this coat off.
Right. So staying out of judgment of someone, staying in curiosity and appreciation with them, and offering them suggestions, telling them what would make you happy, what would delight you. Masculine energy will be attracted to that and will want to serve you versus I need you to wear that coat on stage, or that's what you're wearing on stage. That feels closed, that feels like criticism.
I feel controlled.
It blunts masculine energy, it shrinks masculine energy to the feminine.
And yeah.
I crushed you right there with my coaching.
That's right, you
I'm
sure
sorry.
did. It's okay.
I would love it if we went to the next slide because we're running out of time.
We've hit this pretty hard, but the 3 U's are feeling unheard, not understood, and unsafe. Our 3rd date could have been, where's this creeper taking me? I'm going to jump out of the car and get an Uber, right? You can't ever make your partner feel unsafe, and you have to just check in with them. And masculine energy really struggles because they think that it's a time test of clock hours. It's a cadence thing. You just have to be fully present for just a moment. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling really good.
Just do that once an hour and you're going to have the best sex of your life. I promise you. Just do that for a few days and your partner's going to be like, I don't know what it is, but just like,
I feel connected.
That's right. Just how are you feeling? So you're going to have some homework here in just a moment where you're going to see how to implement that.
All right, we have feminine homework and then we have masculine homework. So take notes or do the QR code here at the end.
100% guaranteed to work.
Ask your partner what financial freedom looks like to them and where they want to take you. So we find that people talk about financial freedom and other people talk about financial security, and they're actually talking about the same thing and they just don't realize it. So feminine partners will likely be served by talking to their masculine partners about what does freedom look like to you and where are we going. Set a reminder to praise and challenge your partner daily. I like to do that right in the morning, looking at like, well, these are the things that are on his calendar. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud that you got that meeting. I hope you bring home the deal. I hope you get that closing. It only takes a little bit of time. It can't be a technique. It has to be authentic, in the moment, very sincere. To unleash your partner to conquer the world every day, right? So talking about that in the morning, the way we serve each other in the morning. Block a time to set your partner free, right? There's so many demands on all of us in modern society, and masculine energy in particular needs time to just be by themselves or with their friends or out doing their thing. And sometimes that can be hard to prioritize, right? Because unfortunately, feminine energy is often the one taking care of the house and the kids, and so you want to keep masculine energy close to help with those things. But I promise you, he will help more after a period of freedom, even if it's just an hour to sit and play a video game or something like that. Some other things there on the slide, be completely open. Ask your partner, what can I do to serve you? How can I help you with your goals? Ask them what their greatest fantasies are. What do you want with real estate investing? What would it look like for you 5 or 10 years from now? What do you really want our marriage to look like? What do you really want sex to be like? Like, just ask them and then just deliver it. Like, it's truly that easy. Masculine energy is very simple, focused on the destination. They will tell you in an instant, this is what I want, and if that feels congruent to you, just give it.
And the counterbalance to this, the partners in the room, is masculine energy. You gotta do your homework too. So ask them what financial security looks like. Financial security looks like. What would make you feel so safe? If we went out and bought that apartment building, would that make you feel safer? Or would it make you feel less safe? Because if it makes them feel less safe, they're going to make that problem bigger until you're not allowed to solve that problem anymore. Set a reminder to check in with your partner on a constant cadence, just as I said. How are you feeling? Make sure your partner knows that you will always come when they call. When they say, I think there's a tiger, I think there's a sound in the other side of the house, I want you to get up and go check out that sound. When you say no, what you're communicating to them is, I will not be there for you when it really matters. If they can't trust you to go investigate the bump in the night because you're annoyed because you're making that problem smaller, how could they possibly trust you with buying an apartment building or being open to you with your greatest fantasies? They have to feel completely safe and know that you'll come when they call. Make certain your partner knows that you will die for them, and I am being very sincere about this. I would die for you. I would die for you. It's important to me that you know, that you understand, that you feel in the core of your soul that I would die for you without a second question. Not anytime soon, hopefully. Don't say that second part. I'm trying to break the energy in the room just a little bit there. Finally, ask your partner if they feel unsafe and how you can make them feel safe. I know this sounds like a crazy question for masculine energy, because you never feel unsafe. It doesn't matter if you're walking through the worst part of town and you see someone being mugged on the other side of the street. I'm good, I'm over here. But your partner, they feel unsafe about certain things, and they feel a little embarrassed to tell you, because Western culture shames feminine energy in this way sometimes.
And it's impossible to make investment decisions if feminine energy feels unsafe. So you have to provide that safety so that when you're asking a big decision like, let's buy that apartment building, let's do that syndication, there's a level of safety there that partner feels that must be a good decision because I've been safe with this person before.
Does that make sense? I know it might sound a little crazy to ask your partner, what makes you feel unsafe? But just the mere fact that you ask, even if they say nothing at all, tells them everything that they need to know about you and about your relationship.
Thank you for our time together. I hope this has been an eye-opening experience for you to take these lessons home, to stay out of judgment, stay in curiosity and wonder about them, try out, see what feels right to you, see what feels congruent, explore it with your partner, do the homework, think about ways that you can connect more deeply with your partner. If you'd like, you can scan that QR code and we'll send you the slides. We also have a recording with some more in-depth content around this. Our booth's back there. We also have a booth in the exhibitor hall. We'd love to meet as many of you as possible. Thank you.